You pay taxes, follow the rules, and expect your state to have your back. But what if it can't? What if your state is drowning in debt, slashing budgets, and losing more people than it gains? Across the United States, some states are teetering on the edge of financial collapse. And it's not just bad luck. It's the result of years of overspending, crumbling infrastructure, and failing economies. And here's the kicker. Many of these places were once economic powerhouses. Now, they're struggling just to keep the lights on. Think your state is safe? Think again. These are the 10 U.S. states that could go broke first in 2025. Number 10, Illinois. It may look like just another Midwest heartland state, but look at the books, and you'll be shocked. Illinois is drowning in over $140 billion in unfunded pension liabilities, and that's just the beginning. Even basic bills are delayed because the state just doesn't have the cash. How does a state with a major global city like Chicago end up broke? Mismanagement, a shrinking population, and relentless tax hikes that push families out. Illinois has been losing residents for 9 straight years. Why? Because people are tired of paying more and getting less. And here's the wildest part. Even lottery winners have waited months to receive payouts. Yes, a state that can't even pay its lottery winners. If that's not a red flag, what is? Number 9, New Jersey. Think living next to New York City keeps you safe? Think again. New Jersey might look wealthy from the outside, but behind the scenes, it's a financial minefield. With one of the worst funded pension systems in America, New Jersey's public retirement plan is funded at only 50% of what it needs. And the cost of living? Outrageous. Property taxes here are the highest in the country, averaging over $9,500 per year. It's no wonder that over 64,000 residents left last year alone, chasing states with lower taxes and better fiscal health. Can you blame them? This is a state trying to keep up appearances, while its financial foundation is cracking beneath the surface. Number 8, Connecticut. On the surface, Connecticut looks quiet, polished, even wealthy. But don't be fooled. It's sitting on a financial time bomb, with over $95 billion in unfunded liabilities, including pensions and retiree healthcare. That's more than $25,000 in debt per resident. Imagine being a family of 4 and carrying $100,000 of public debt just because of where you live. Despite one of the highest average incomes in the country, residents face sky-high taxes, crumbling infrastructure, and underfunded public schools. Where is all that money going? Meanwhile, people are leaving fast. From retirees to young professionals, Connecticut lost over 27,000 residents in 2022 alone. And when high earners leave first, those left behind carry the burden, and it gets heavier by the day. This isn't sudden. It's decades of neglect, underfunding, and political delay. Even iconic cities like Hartford and New Haven are buckling, with Hartford already flirting with bankruptcy once before. Connecticut isn't as safe as it seems. Number 7, Kentucky. You might think of bluegrass, horses, and scenic rural life. But Kentucky is caught in a dangerous financial spiral. Its public employee pension system is funded at just 44%, meaning the state can't afford to keep its promises. That includes teachers, police officers, and public workers who may never see their full pensions. In some years, Kentucky has spent over 15% of its total budget just plugging pension holes. That's money that should have gone to schools, roads, and healthcare. Meanwhile, rural poverty continues. Young people are leaving, and the tax base is drying up. Even worse, despite all this, Kentucky has one of the lowest tax rates in the country. Sounds great, until you realize low taxes plus massive obligations equal financial disaster. Without major changes, Kentucky faces a fiscal cliff fast. Number 6, California. The 5th largest economy in the world, California shines with Silicon Valley, Hollywood, and innovation. But under the glam, it's cracking. In 2025, California faces a $38 billion budget deficit. Why? Because it depends heavily on capital gains taxes from the rich, and when the market dips, so does the state's revenue. Over 800,000 people left California between 2020 and 2023. That's nearly the population of San Francisco gone. And the top 1%? They pay nearly half of all income taxes. If just a small fraction of them leave, California loses billions. Meanwhile, the state is grappling with a housing crisis, rising homelessness, and a collapsing infrastructure. Even education is failing, despite having the largest school budget in the country. Big corporations like Tesla and Oracle have already left, taking jobs, tax dollars, and confidence with them. California is burning through money faster than it can earn it. The dream? It's fading. Number 5. New York. The Empire State is iconic, powerful, and influential, but it's also in serious financial trouble. New York State faces a growing budget gap, with $36 billion in shortfalls expected over the next 3 years. And New York City, the economic engine of the entire region, is bleeding money, struggling with rising crime, housing issues, and a shrinking workforce. Here's the problem. The top 1% of earners pay nearly half of all income taxes. And guess what? They're leaving. Wealthy New Yorkers are fleeing to Florida, Texas, and beyond, taking billions in tax revenue with them. Combine that with a surging migrant crisis, sky-high public spending, and one of the largest debt burdens in the U.S., and New York is in a race against time. If the rich leave faster than they can be replaced, this titan of a state could be standing on very fragile legs. Number 4. Mississippi, the poorest state in the country, and the one most reliant on federal aid. Over 40% of Mississippi's budget comes from Washington. Let that sink in. This means if federal funding is cut, for any reason, the state could collapse overnight. And while costs of living are low, so are investments in education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Mississippi ranks near the bottom in public health, teacher pay, and economic mobility. The tax base, shrinking. The population, shrinking. And job opportunities, scarce. Mississippi is trapped in a cycle of poverty, dependency, and outmigration. And without a bold turnaround, bankruptcy like collapse is more of a matter of when, not if. Number 3. Pennsylvania. Once a manufacturing powerhouse, Pennsylvania is now buckling under the weight of its own past. The state faces more than $75 billion in pension debt and retiree healthcare liabilities. And unlike other states, Pennsylvania has delayed serious reforms for decades. Now the bill is due, and it's massive. Add to that aging infrastructure, declining school performance, and shrinking rural economies. Cities like Philadelphia are already facing massive deficits, while smaller towns are becoming ghost towns. Young people are leaving, jobs are disappearing, and the burden falls harder every year on the people who stay. If nothing changes, Pennsylvania may become one of the first major states to default on promises it simply can't afford to keep. Number 2. Louisiana. Floods, hurricanes, political corruption, and crumbling finances. Louisiana is struggling on every front. Its public pension systems are drastically underfunded, and the state suffers from some of the highest poverty rates in America. But here's the twist. Despite the poverty, Louisiana gives away billions in tax exemptions to corporations, draining revenue that could fix roads, fund schools, or rebuild healthcare. Baton Rouge and New Orleans are drowning in deficits. Hospitals are closing. Public safety is suffering. And yet, the money isn't coming in. Add a history of mismanagement and severe environmental risks, and you've got a recipe for total collapse. The state is on life support. And the prognosis? Not good. Number 1. Alaska. Surprised? You shouldn't be. Once rich from oil revenues, Alaska is now running on empty. Over 85% of its budget used to come from oil taxes. But oil prices have crashed and never fully recovered. Now, the state is raiding its savings just to keep basic services running. There's no income tax, no sales tax, and it relies heavily on oil royalties, which are now dangerously low. Alaska once had a massive rainy day fund, over $12 billion. That's now been drained to just a fraction, and it's still falling. Meanwhile, costs in Alaska are higher than almost anywhere else in the U.S., from groceries to housing to transportation. Rural towns are isolated and struggling. And to make things worse, climate change is eroding infrastructure, melting roads, and threatening coastal communities. Alaska's unique geography and dependence on oil make it high risk and dangerously close to being the first state to truly go broke in modern history. These states aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They're homes, communities, futures. If your state is on this list, this isn't just a warning, it's a call to awareness. Budget mismanagement, shrinking tax bases, overloaded pension systems, and citizens leaving in droves. It's time to ask, where is your tax money going? And how long can these states keep pretending everything's fine? Because if they fall, millions of lives will feel the crash.